Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffe Kennedy, author of fantasy romance and romantic fantasy. I am here with my first cup of coffee. Lovely. Today is, say it with me, Friday! Woo! Friday, May 6th. Um, yeah. Uh, as the week winds to a close, I feel like we're in a good place with all of the things. Um, My folks got the results back on their CT scans yesterday, and my mother's proud to announce that their brains are not scrambled. Um, their neighbors tested positive for COVID, and they were recently at an event with them, so there's that. Never ending cycle. But went to the endocrinologist yesterday. Those of you who have been listening for a long time may recall that my husband David had a lot of medical stuff before Christmas, dealing with his um, gut and his swallowing and all of this. And one of the things that they found when they did the scans of him at the hospital, at urgent care, was that he had some nodules on his thyroid. So we just now got in with the endocrinologist, and she did an ultrasound, and she said that the nodules are very, very small, that they're not big enough to biopsy. So he'll check back in a year, but good news there. And in other medical news, I am absurdly pleased by this, you guys. So, one of the things I had to do, being a woman of a certain age, is I got to have a bone density scan. And I went in to see my doctor the other day just to discuss results on things. And he said my bones are beautiful. He said my bone density scan was beautiful, the exact word he used. He said that I have the bones of a young adult, of a healthy young adult. How about that? Cheers. David feels very vindicated because he's always said that I have strong bones. I'm very strong. So, bone density scan confirms it. The bones of a young adult. Now, if only I could have, the eyes of a young adult, or I don't know, the metabolism of a young adult. I wish I had my metabolism back. But bones of a young adult, good thing to have. Um, that's, breaking bones is always a hard thing on people, hard to recover from. So it's funny because I was reading a book where, somebody got really hurt very, very badly, broken legs, broken arms, all of this, and they always say in the books, things like, I think this is part of why I don't write action scenes, because I just can't suspend disbelief enough. But they're saying, well, it'll take him a few months to heal. And I'm thinking, he's never coming back from that. He's never going to be 100% of what he was. But we kind of gloss over that in fiction. Um, I still think about my CPA who, fell and broke his, about my age, fell and broke his femur. And he just fell down a couple of steps and snapped that femur, and it had been 2 years and he was still trying to recover from it, and that was with like amazing medical technology. So uh yeah, I know I'm supposed to just like be like, oh well, he'll heal. I think that's one reason why I have magic healing. I had a conversation with Nydia Okorafor. She was in town, and do I sound like I'm name dropping? It was really fun meeting Nettie. She was an interesting person, really wonderful writer, and we had some great conversations. And I toured her around, and she loves jewelry, so it was like it's an easy gig, getting to talk with fun writers and then taking them around to cool shops so that they can buy things. Santa Fe tourism should like totally employ me. So anyway, I thought it's probably not relevant that it was Nettie, except that she asked me an interesting question, which I don't think anybody else has ever asked me. But she said, if you could pick any superpower, and we were talking about, like characters with amazing powers and all of this and how you write it effectively. And uh, she said, if you could pick any superpower, what would you have? And I said, I would pick healing people. I would want to be able to heal anybody and make anybody, um, you know, recover from any kind of disease or injury. And she looked at me funny and she said, but that leads to chaos because then, you know, people wouldn't die. It would disrupt the natural order. And I said, I don't care. I said, I would absolutely be that. I would do it anyway. I would just heal everybody anyway. And she was laughing at me for it. And I said, well, what would you pick? And she said, well, I'm shallow. I want to be able to fly. So I would pick flying. And she said, but you would be causing chaos to the human race. And I'm like, I know, and I still don't care. uh, now, maybe I have to write that character. I am thinking up uh, this next story. I really need to be focusing on the book I'm writing, which I'm currently revising. It doesn't suck. I just worry that it repeats. And I'm not sure I have good enough perspective on it. I may have to get somebody else to read it for me because I'm worried it circles the same thing, which I know I've been saying all along about this book. Um, and I know that part of it is because the characters circle, that they're kind of stuck in this loop. How do people even write like groundhog type stories? Because, uh, yeah, how do you keep it straight? Maybe they write stuff down. Maybe they have outlines, Jeffy. Alas. Um, yeah, so anyway, I'm thinking about this whole new I should be thinking about like the next Bonds of Magic book, which I'm planning to write after this. Not this new shiny, but the new shiny. I'm doing the Scalzi method. Um, and just for those of you who may not have heard it before, I heard John Scalzi talk about this, uh, about how you treat ideas or how he treats ideas. That if he has a good idea for a story, that he thinks about it for a little bit and he puts it away again. And if it's still there the next morning, he takes it out, mulls it over a little bit, puts it away again. And rinse, wash, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Oh well. Uh, and he says if the idea is still there, like 6 months or a year later, then he takes it seriously. So that's what I'm doing with this idea. I'm just taking it out and toying with it and sort of pasting pieces onto it. Uh, Interestingly, Agent Sarah contacted me the other day, sent me an email kind of out of the blue, and said, I have a new opportunity and I would like to talk to you about it sooner rather than later, which is unusual for her. Usually she's, have to schedule things out. She's busy. And she said, can you suggest some times? Because she knows I'm busy too. And and I was actually a good time. I was done writing. I was looking at email, and I said, "Well, I'm at my desk for the next 2 hours." And she said, "Okay, well, I'm hopping on a call right now, and then I'll call you." And yeah, she has two opportunities, pretty interesting ones that are really well suited to the kind of writer that I am. And she said, and it occurs to me, that we have these two books that are out on submission. One is from the one from a while ago, the science fantasy thing that I've been planning to take back and write and self publish. And that Sarah had actually asked me if I was going to go ahead and finish that book, which I'll do because I know I want to write it anyway. Um, she asked if she could have like 2 months to take it out on submission again because it's been like 2 years and all the editors have changed. So if you wait long enough, you have a whole new raft of editors. And that's actually a decent piece of advice for any newbie writers out there, because the common wisdom is once you have submitted a work to a publishing house, to an imprint, or sometimes people are like, no, all the same house, which is really daunting because there's only like five major houses left. Some people say, well, you could do different imprints within the houses, but like once you've hit that one imprint, you can't do a different editor at the same imprint, even. But what this has left out is that so many young editors, and people have been saying the mass exodus, which I feel like makes it sound really, I don't know, more important than it is. It's not that I feel like I don't want editors to be leaving their jobs. I want people to be able to make a fair living and all of that. But I don't know. I saw one article saying that when you did the numbers, that it was like 4%. I was like, I don't know. Can you call 4% a mass exodus? I mean, is it even a significant percentage? That's the scientist in me. Don't mind me while I quibble. Anyway, so the counterpoint to this common wisdom that like once you've submitted a manuscript around, that it is effectively dead and can't do it anymore, can't send it out there anymore, is, or you can wait 2 years and all of those editors will have shuffled around and new editors will be in their places and you can go on a whole fresh submission round. Funny, huh? So uh, Sarah said, so we have that, and then we have the other thing, the genre departure one that are out on submission. And she said, what I would like to do is take these and submit them to this new opportunity, this new, exciting, very well funded opportunity. And and she said, do you have any objection to me doing that? And I said, well, it sounds to me like there would be zero effort on my part, which is my favorite thing. I said, is that a terrible thing to say? And she's like, no, I totally get it. She says, I will do all the work on this. This, by the way, people, is one reason why it's handy to have an agent, uh, because she brings these opportunities to me and she does a lot of the legwork. She supports my career in many ways. She has like her office interns help me with some of the slog work on things, and it's good for them because they can, like if they have to go through my books and look for something or pull stuff or whatever. um, I haven't really gone into the whole, um, I don't know if I even want to talk about it. Do I want to talk about it? It's a beautiful morning here. No smoke yet. Lilacs are in bloom, scenting the air. No, it's just one of the things that the anti-agent people don't consider. That, they're like, why would you give your 15% to someone who, I don't know, they've got this view that they do nothing. And it's, okay. I don't even need to do like point counterpoint on it because, uh, yeah. If you guys want me to talk about it in more detail, I will attempt to be articulate about it and not sputter. But anyway, so yeah, so that's exciting. And and then the other thing, we agreed on a work for her to suggest to them, and we'll see what happens. Um, but could be money. We like money. What else? What else do I have to tell you guys today? Maybe not a whole lot. Did Ryder coffee yesterday. It was nice to catch up with everyone. Felt like it had been a while. Yeah. Um, got to see Jim Sorensen. Yeah, it felt like it had been a couple months since I'd seen Jim, and it was a good time. I'm trying to think if we had any salient gossip, but I can't recall any. Thick in the throes of planning Nebula conference. Um, in the throes of revising this book. Yeah, maybe I don't have a lot to say. Maybe I'll do a short one today. I think I will. So yeah, on that note, I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. I have meetings. I have several meetings tomorrow, but then hopefully I will have an opportunity to well, if it's not too windy or too smoky. It's one of those push pull things. We If it's windy, it's not smoky in general, depending on which way the wind is blowing. Uh, and if it's not windy, our smoke starts to climb up to dangerous levels. The fire up by Los Alamos is like 13% contained. So I don't think that we are going to get non smoky soon. Yeah, little hummingbird up there in the grapevine above me. Hello, lovey. I'm seeing what she's doing. Huh. She might have been looking for a nest spot. They like to build nests on these vines, which I don't always feel like is a great idea, but the hummingbirds don't ask me. Anyway, I'm going to head off and do my thing. I hope you all get to do your thing, and I will talk to you on Monday. Take care. Bye bye.